Hi, today I'm going to be talking about family scapegoating and how to know that you are the scapegoat in your family. And this is coming from someone who has been the family's scapegoat. Now, despite that I've had first-hand experience on what it is to be the family scapegoat, I did in fact do my research and take some notes, but I'm going to be explaining these terms in a way that Nigerians would understand because it means so much to me. The Nigerians start to wake up to abuse and what it entails, especially abuse that goes on in the family. To begin with, who is a scapegoat? A scapegoat is someone who is routinely blamed for problems, conflicts, and dysfunction when they are not responsible for it. Now, this is how it happens in a typical Nigerian family. The father is abusive, the mother is the victim, the children are the victim, but because nobody wants to hold the father responsible for the stress that he is causing to the family, for the abuse, for the damage and the dysfunction that is caused by him in the family, they would rather then look for the child that is most vulnerable to pick on and to lay all their problems on. And this happens everywhere, mind you. It is just that today we are talking strictly about family. Even in friendships, this thing happen where one friend is very problematic or there are problems within the friend group. But because there's one person who is quirky, there's one person who is sensitive, there's one person who is vulnerable, everyone directs their energy on the person who is quirky, the person who is vulnerable, and they start to pick on this person instead of addressing the issue. And the issue is that there is someone in the group that is being a bully, that is being controlling, and that is being abusive to the rest of the group. This also happens at workplaces. You have a boss who is abusive and difficult, and then everyone ignores the boss who is the problem and then focus all their energy on the scapegoat, the person who they perceive is the most vulnerable. It is easier for people to pick on the scapegoat and to torture the scapegoat than to actually face the problem of what is actually happening within the family, the corporation, or the friend group. One thing you will come to know about Nigerian families, especially families where abuse is going on, is that nobody wants to admit to themselves or to the other people in the family what the problem is. And even if they do admit to themselves that, listen, this man is our problem, our father, my husband is our problem, they still want to tame it a bit. They still don't want to drop, they don't want to say it as it is. They would instead rather blame the scapegoat, not necessarily for the abuse that the person who is abusive is causing, but they might frame it in such a way that it would look like the scapegoat is the reason why the family is having problems, when in actual fact, it is the abuser that is abusing everyone in the family and is causing friction and dysfunction. Do you wonder if you're a scapegoat? I think if you've listened attentively to this point, then you either suspect that you are the scapegoat or someone you know is the scapegoat. These are signs that you are your family's scapegoat. Let's get into it. Before trying to figure out if you are the scapegoat in your family, you first have to establish that in your family there is a narcissistic abuser. Scapegoating usually occurs in family where there is a narcissistic abuser somewhere. Someone somewhere is abusive. And in many Nigerian families, that person is the father. So this is how it goes. The father is the abusive one. And then you have the mother and you have the children. So usually what happens is the mother and maybe the father sometimes then picks a child that would be blamed and bullied and mocked and put down as the bad egg, the black sheep. That person will then be selected and assigned the role of a scapegoat. Now, this does not mean that the father and the mother and the children will all sit in one place and say, "Oh, today, oh, we pick Tolani to be the family scapegoat." No, 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 no. That is not how it works. It can even be something that is caused by the circumstances of your birth. It could be that you were born in a time when the family had things very hard. Could be anything really, but they will capitalize upon that weakness. Usually there is a weakness. That is one thing. There's usually a weakness. They will capitalize on that weakness and then crown you the position of the family scapegoat. Now what happens is the person who usually picks the scapegoat is the victim, the primary victim. And the primary victim in a family where there's an abusive father is the mother. So usually the mother picks the scapegoat and everybody just goes along with it. The mother picks the scapegoat because she is the one dealing with the abuse. Because she's dealing with the abuse and she refuses to blame the father. This is the father. She refuses to blame the father for what is going on in the family. She will instead then pick a child, right, that she will label as the problem and the cause of everything that is going on in the family. And guess what? Everybody agrees, usually including the abuser. Because obviously, if you are a problematic person and people are not blaming you, right? This is the problematic person. Your victim is not blaming you for what you're doing. She instead choosing to blame somebody else. Obviously, you will want to run with it. So in most families, the mother picks the scapegoat and everyone else runs with it, including the father and the other children. Now, these are signs that in your family, you are the scapegoat. The first sign that you are the scapegoat in your dysfunctional family is if you are the first daughter. Yeah, I said what I said. A lot of people say, oh, first daughters go through a lot in families, first daughters this, first daughters that. But people are not willing to be patient and to uproot things and figure out the reason why there is so much heavy burden on the first daughter, on why a lot of first daughters are not on good terms with their mothers, on why it seems like a lot of first daughters have this experience where they are convinced that their mothers hate them. People talk about it a lot, but nobody really pulls it out. Nobody really, and that's one thing about the Nigerian society. Like, people say this is a problem, but nobody's ever willing to figure out why that problem is. Nobody's ever willing to dig in deep and go to the roots of the problem. Because, and if you don't go to the root of a problem, we are doomed to repeat history. So we need to start being more intentional about digging deep and getting to the root of the problem. One of the signs that you are the scapegoat in your family is when you are the first daughter. And I'll tell you why. Remember I said this is the father, he is the abuser, and this is the mother, right? She is the primary victim of her husband, the father. Now, this woman who is the victim, she has been raised to be so male-centered, so focused on men, so men focused that she finds it very difficult to see men as her equals, even when these men are her children. So a woman who has been a victim or who is a victim of abuse in her marriage will most likely not look to her son to be her scapegoat. Why? Because she already feels as though her son is not even her equal. She finds it hard to see her son as her equal. She sees her son as a step below his father. So she sees her son as someone who is way above her. Just like how a lot of women, they are so when it comes to talking to other women anyhow, you'll find them there. But when it comes to a man, the way they treat men and the way they treat women are so different. It's like day and night. When they see a woman, you see them, they will be so activated. But when they see a man, they are more chill, they are more reserved, and they are more respectful. Now, a woman who is a victim of abuse from a man, she is most likely the kind of woman that sees men as above her. Even if the said man is her son. So the chances that a woman will pick a son as this family scapegoat is very low. The chances that a woman will pick her son as the family scapegoat is very low. Why? Because she sees men as above her. Even if that man is a boy, even if he's not a man yet, even if he's a boy, it doesn't matter. And if that woman has 5 sons or she has all boys, she would most likely pick the one who has more feminine traits to pick on. That is how a lot of women are. Now, if you are the first daughter, chances are your mother who has been a victim of abuse is going to direct all of that anger on you, because that is what a lot of women are trained to do. They never recognize that this man or this man somewhere is my problem. Rather, they are encouraged to sort of direct all of that energy towards other women. And in this situation, the closest other woman is the first daughter, a first female child. One thing you need to understand is that a lot of women who are in abusive marriages, relationships, their minds are very thwarted towards women. It is very difficult for you to find a woman who is in an abusive marriage be a good friend to other women. It is very difficult for you to find a woman that is in an abusive marriage being a good mother to her daughters. Because if you do not respect yourself as a woman, if you find it difficult to believe that you are not deserving of abuse from this man as a woman, chances are you also believe that your daughters and the women around you deserve abuse. And chances are you're going to reflect that energy back to your daughters. So, and when the first daughter comes, she's the first daughter. She's the one that immediately absorbs that energy, that self hate from her mother. So, if you are a first daughter and you're wondering if you're the family scapegoat, maybe you are, maybe you're not. But let's move on to the next point, and you get to see and decide for yourself whether or not you're your family's scapegoat. Another sign that you might be the family scapegoat is if you find that your family does not respect you or treat you with respect. If you find that it is very easy for your family members to disrespect you, if you find that any little thing they are just so fast to attack you, they are so fast to turn against you, it is so easy for them to turn against you. It is not difficult at all. Like, you don't even really have to do much. They'll just jump on you, pounce on you. They don't respect you. They see you as a joke. They treat you as a joke. Chances are you are the family scapegoat. If your words do not mean much, your contributions do not mean much, you might be the family scapegoat. Now, to the next point. If you find that nothing you ever do is good enough, you might be the family scapegoat. If you find that even when you give your mother, maybe you send 1 million naira to your mom and she's like, oh yeah, thank you, whatever. Maybe you have a sibling or whatever and they bring 10,000 naira home, that your mom will start celebrating and joyfully being happy, being excited. Maybe you're the kind of person that will wake up in the morning, clean the entire house, make it look good, and nobody even cares to say thank you, right? But you have another sibling and the sibling just maybe washes a bathroom or sweeps the corridor and they start praising that sibling. Oh, well done. Oh, this or that. Chances are you might be the family scapegoat. Because one thing about a scapegoat is your family will have this expectation that you should always do the best. They feel so entitled to your labor, to your resources. They don't care to thank you. They don't care to praise you. But when someone else does the same thing that you have been doing for a very long time, they will praise that person and say, oh, this person did such a beautiful thing today. We're so grateful for this person. If you find that regardless of what you do, it is just never seen as good enough. You're never praised or say, oh my God, you've done something so nice. You've done something so beautiful. You don't have that experience with your family. Then chances are you are your family's scapegoat. If you find that no serious gratitude is shown for the things that you do, you just might be the family's scapegoat. If you find that your feelings are dismissed, invalidated, and even mocked, you just might be the family's scapegoat. You find that you cry a lot, you're always complaining, and nobody even cares to listen. They might even laugh at you. Chances are you are the family scapegoat. If you stub your toe, and that is one thing, the feelings of a scapegoat are never really validated. Your family don't really see anything you're going through as anything. They don't care. It's just like they don't care. It's almost like, wow, they don't acknowledge the severity of the things that are wrong with you. Maybe you stub your toe. It might be something as simple as that. You stub your toe, and if it were to be your sibling, everyone will run there and say, oh, sorry you feel this way. Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish that this thing happened to you. You know, one person is getting an ointment, another person is getting this, one person is getting plaster, another person is getting spirit. But when you stub your toe, You notice that you don't get that kind of attention. You don't get that kind of attentiveness from your mother, from your parents, or your siblings. Chances are you are the scapegoat. If they mock you, if you're crying and they're laughing at you, and whatever you do is like, I beg this girl, I beg this boy, you are your family's scapegoat. You're your family's scapegoat. If you find that your feelings are constantly and consistently invalidated, like whatever you do is like, oh, this person has come again, even though you don't really come that often, you are your family's scapegoat. You receive harsher criticism or harsher punishment. You are the scapegoat. If you find that when you do something and your sibling does the same thing, your sibling can even like be ignored and whatever, and maybe just giving a slap on the wrist, like go away, Joe. But when it is you that you do this thing, there's so much bile and so much anger and so much we are disappointed in you, so much like disappointment, so much harshness coming from your family. Chances are you're the scapegoat. And this was my experience growing up because I used to feel as though I just knew at the back of my mind that I could not fuck up. Do you understand? Like I just knew that my own fuck up will not be accepted like that. There was no room for me to make a mistake. I just knew that you have to just be straight. You have to do what you're told. Like because I just knew on some level that my mistakes, my fuck ups, my misbehavior will not be as welcomed out all the time. Because when I do something, even if it's the slightest stuff, it's met with so much anger, so much is like, okay, but I just did this thing though, and this person did this thing yesterday. And listen, you might have very manipulative parents that will tell you things like, the reason why I'm so harsh on you is because I love you the most. That's a lie. That's a very big lie. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. If you find that there's so much is expected of you that when you fuck up, they get so angry, they can't handle it. It's not because they love you, it's because they have scapegoated you. It's because they've started to look up to you as the one who should save and help and rescue the family. And when you don't live up to that expectations, they become so disappointed. It is not because they love you. It's because they have assigned you the role of the family scapegoat. Another way to know that you are the family scapegoat is if you tend to be a very independent person and your independence is not rewarded. Instead, you are given more responsibilities. Say, for instance, you are the kind of child that you barely ever ask for money because maybe you have like a petty business going on somewhere for you. You have this that you do, you have that you do, and you're trying to just not put so much burden on your parents. And you find that they, instead of appreciating your independence, you find that they give you less and less. Like the less you ask for, the less they give you. In an actual healthy family, when a child is independent, right, the parents discourages it, especially when they are not ripe for that kind of independence. That's that for starters. Secondly, when children are independent, especially when they're not ripe for it, and the parents understand that, listen, this child is not supposed to be this independent. I'm supposed to still be responsible for this child, but I cannot for some reasons. What those parents tend to do in a healthy family is to appreciate the child for being independent, reward them for it, and sort of make space for the understanding that, listen, you're not supposed to be doing these things, but you're helping us to do these things, and we thank you for it. But if you find that your independence makes them even put more burden on you, like you buy, maybe today you buy your school sandals for yourself and you expect them to say, oh, I know I should be the one buying this sandal for you, but I'm glad that you were able to do it. Thank you very much for buying these sandals, right? They start telling you, can't you buy a sandal for Neka? Neka does not have a sandal now. You just bought only yourself a sandal. Can't you buy for this person? You are most likely the scapegoat. Scapegoats often tend to be independent emotionally and financially, mostly because they don't have a choice. Like it's like you already have it ingrained in you that if you don't day for yourself, nobody go day for you. So it's like you already know, you already have it at the back of your mind that you just have to do what you got to do. And independence doesn't even have to be financial independence, by the way. It could just be that you're the kind of person that You'll be dealing with stuff you won't tell anybody. Maybe you have problems in school, you just find it very difficult to go and sit your parents down and say, Mommy, Daddy, this is what happened. In school, I did this happened. Like, you just find it very difficult to do that because you know at the back of your mind, you know on some level, you're aware that they don't really care. Because, like I said, your feelings are already invalidated. So, you already know on some level that your feelings will not be validated. So when you encounter problems outside, you tend to look inwards or maybe outside the family for a solution instead of talking to your parents about it. So, and I know that in a lot of Nigerian homes, you actually find it very hard to tell your parents of, because, and that is one thing that I do want to talk about, because a lot of Nigerian parents, it's a whole conversation. It's a whole other conversation. Let's not delve into that. If you find that you especially, you just cannot talk to your parents the same way that your siblings can, you cannot talk to them and say, oh, this thing happened outside, this person did this to me. You cannot really express yourself because you know on some level you're aware that it will be invalidated, or you just feel like they don't care, because you can strongly feel like they don't care, or that they will not really stand up for you, fight for you, be there for you. Chances are you are a scapegoat. But this is dicey though, because there are families where parents generally don't listen to all their kids. So if you find that they listen more to your siblings, pay more attention to your siblings than to you, you are the family scapegoat. Another sign that you're your family scapegoat is if you are excluded, isolated, or othered. And this happens when you have a parent who tries to directly or indirectly turn your siblings away from you. There are families where parents would try to sow seeds of discord between their kids. Like if you find that your one parent or both parents are constantly trying to report you to another sibling, trying to badmouth you to another sibling, or you just know on some level that in your family there's a clique of sorts, like everybody's on their own and then there's just you just have that feeling, you know that others are closer, like they have a bond, right? And you're just excluded, and you know for a fact that they do be talking about you, they do be talking shit about you. Chances are you are your family's scapegoat. And it's very important because if you're this way, chances are not just that you are the family scapegoat, it's also that you became the family scapegoat because of that. Now, if you're the kind of person who has empathy towards the abused parent, or you feel a sense of responsibility for them, you're your family scapegoat. Now, remember the dynamic I mentioned earlier. Father is abusive, mother is the victim. If you, as the child, feels empathy for the victim, that's your mother. If you find that you feel empathy for her, you are the one who sort of understands what she's going through, you feel a sense of responsibility for her, you try to protect her, you try to support her, you will most likely be scapegoated by your mother. And it's so funny because it's like, and that is one thing I always try to mention when I'm talking about abuse. As an outsider, looking at abusers and abuse victims, you think they are normal human beings, right? And you try to reason with them in the normal human being way. You are wrong. You are very wrong. The brain of an abuser and the brain of an abuse victim, they are sort of similar in a way, right? But the more important thing is that they are different from the brain of the average human being. Their brains have been altered, right? Especially that of the victim. The victim's brain has been altered. So this even goes with friendships, whatever other kind of relationship. If you're friends with someone who is in an abusive relationship, or an abusive marriage, and you show her too much care, too much concern, too much empathy, you are the closest to her, chances are she will start trying to do to you what her husband has been doing to her. Yeah. She will start trying to do to you what her husband has been doing to her. So what you'll be getting is you'll be getting the residue of the abuse, right? Some people will say, oh, yeah, whenever my dad does this, she transfers aggression on me. She's not just transferring aggression on you, she's abusing you, right? You are a victim. She's abusing you. because she has suffered in the hands of your dad and she's now transferring that aggression on you. But the reason she's transferring that aggression on you is because you are the closest person to her. Just the same way she is suffering abuse from your dad because she is the closest person to him. A lot of, believe it or not, a lot of victims of abuse, they have such loyalty to the abusers. They're always there for the abusers. They carry the loads of the abusers. Still, the abusers keep abusing them, right? So, in the same way, if you decide now to now show your mother loyalty, you try to be responsible for her, maybe you even try to get her out of the situation, she will then turn that wrath on you. Because, of course, she can't transfer aggression to her husband, the person who is actually responsible for her problems. So, she will most likely transfer the aggression and react to the abuse by abusing you, the child who is empathetic towards her plight. This is the last and final sign that you just might be the scapegoat in your family. If you have an obvious vulnerability or problem that makes a good cover for the reason why your family treats you the way that they do. If, for instance, you have a physical disability, an emotional disability, if you are neurodivergent, if the rest of your family members are dark skinned and you're light skinned, or the rest of your family members are light skinned and you are the only dark skinned one, you look different from the family in terms of appearance. Those are the things that might make you an easy target for scapegoating in a family where a narcissistic abuser is present. If you're a sensitive child, you have problems with maybe bedwetting, sleeping alone in the dark, being by yourself, you're very clingy, you grow up to be a very clingy child, chances are you will become a target for scapegoating and you will become your family's scapegoat. Now, having talked about signs and ways to know that you are a scapegoat, do you think you're a scapegoat? And if you do think you're a scapegoat, is there anything that you would like to do about it? Let me know in comments if there's anything you'd like me to talk about regarding scapegoating and narcissistic abuse in families. If you're a Nigerian woman who values sisterhood and community, and you want a space where it's just women and you can talk about the things that you love, you can share your interests, you can just communicate and be in community with other like-minded women, I have just the space for you. I have just created a Nigerian women's only community where we get together twice weekly to have events, we talk, and it's just absolutely peaceful. My goal is to have a drama free space where women can express themselves and just be free to be. If you're interested, I'm going to be posting a link in the comments. Please copy this link onto your browser and join in the fun. Thank you for listening, guys, and let me know if this sort of content resonates with you. Bye.